In a mobilization effort reminiscent of the early days of the pandemic, the airlines are now pitching in to deliver desperately needed supplies. Qatar Airways tells me it's carrying a 20-foot oxygen tank on board a charter flight from Europe to Doha, where it will be filled and then sent to India by sea. Cargo has been the backbone of many airlines' success over the course, well, such as it is, over the course of the pandemic. I got exclusive access last month to the cargo headquarters at Qatar Airways. Freight's the unsung hero of aviation during the pandemic. It's become a pillar of airline strategy. The planes that you and I flew on before the virus hit are now being used to ferry medical supplies around the world. I got a special look at how it all works from Doha to your doorstep. The cabin is full, the hold loaded. The only thing missing are the passengers. And for Qatar Airways, this is part of the new normal.
The story is fairly simple. The world has stopped traveling in 2020, but the world has not stopped trading. My name is Guillaume Alleux. I'm the Chief Officer Cargo for Qatar Airways. When the pandemic hit, clearly the business model that we were operating was no longer valid. The business model of Qatar Airways was 60 cargo flights per day and close to 600 passenger flights per day. Those passenger flights almost disappeared, almost overnight.
Empty departure lounges meant largely empty planes. For all the airlines, this has been the worst crisis in history. Qatar Airways is trying to make the best of a very difficult job, and the crisis became an opportunity for cargo.
Hi guys, we are in the perishable business. What we sell is weight and volume on one aircraft that will depart no matter what. If it's not full, it will still depart, right? Once that aircraft has taken off, that ability to sell that volume and weight is gone forever.
Rather than ground its entire fleet of passenger jets, Qatar kept them flying. For instance, from April last year, it flew between Doha and Australia with only freight on board.
Before COVID, 66% of the world's cargo was traveling on passenger flights. You might not see it, but when you travel as a passenger and you look through the window, you see those containers being loaded. You believe those are your luggage. Most of them are actually cargo.
The planes were carrying everything from medical supplies and PPE to food and fresh produce. These cargo flights kept products moving even when people couldn't. And as the pandemic persisted, the airline took things further. It converted its passenger planes to cargo carriers.
So we call them mini freighters. As you can see, mini freighter is a passenger airplane. From the outside, it's very easy to notice. Passenger airplanes have windows. Cargo flights have no windows. And so we have removed the seats. In our industry, everything is extremely regulated, and you cannot just decide to remove the seat and fly. For example, we had to remove the oxygen bottles and the masks because there's no passengers on board. We had to put a cabin crew on board because what if there is a fire?
Filling planes with people is tricky enough. When you want to fill those same cabins with freight, it's an entirely different jigsaw puzzle. And one that also includes convincing the regulators that it's safe and all this new cargo won't suddenly shift.
The devil hides in the details. In order to maximize and optimally load that main deck here, these are the racks where the seats used to be attached to, right? So this is part of the structure of the aircraft. We have to use that where it is. We can't change it. So if you start from here and you go here, that's your central section. A job well done by the cargo team is to identify shipments with dimensions that are compatible with the space available here. And so look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, matching almost perfectly the width that is available.
For the airline's chief executive, the experiment has paid dividends in very difficult times. Akbar Al-Bakr told me Qatar Airways is now the world's #1 carrier for cargo.
Actually, it has been extremely significant because we have nearly doubled the capacity that we were carrying before the pandemic. We converted most of our passenger aircraft that was completely grounded in the onset of the pandemic to utilize those aeroplanes to carry cargo.
Do you think this will remain, this cargo? I mean, or will it fall back, do you think?
No, I think that we will start converting the aeroplanes back from cargo to passengers, because once the growth starts, we will need the passenger aircraft.
Soon enough, these planes will revert to once again being filled with passengers rather than pallets. The lessons learned will last well beyond the pandemic.
With COVID, cargo has become obviously the lifeline of Qatar Airways, and the air freight industry has become the lifeline of the aviation world.
In the airline industry's darkest days, that part of aviation that's often seen as the Cinderella bit, cargo, proved to be the belle of the ball.